Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Stas here. Cheers, by the way. Got the coffee on deck. I appreciate you all for tuning in as we're about to break down some stocks, some news we got, and just go over the indexes, which right now are all in the green. The S&P 500's up 0.25%. Same with the NASDAQ. The Russell's up 0.9% as the Dow's up 20 points, pretty much at break even, slightly in the green though. So again, we're going to break down the indexes, some stocks, some news we got. So hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe and join the free email stock newsletter. And feel free to check out my Patreon if you guys want to keep up with my portfolio updates, what I'm doing, how I'm building my portfolio, and how I'm beating the stock market, the S&P 500. All of that's on Patreon down below. And with that being said, cheers, let's dive into it. So it's currently about 10:30-ish a.m. East Coast time, so we're about an hour into the session, and again, we're up across the board, and stocks are looking pretty good, right? It's not a crazy green day or anything like that, but we are up, like I said, pretty nicely across the board, and SPY is breaking back over $600, which is a big level. You guys can see on this chart if I draw this out. 600 was a big resistance for a good almost month, man, at this point. And now we're starting to break out of it. We got the 602, it looks like, yesterday after the bell. Now we're at over 601. So the ETF here, SPY, which again tracks the S&P, is pushing $600, which at this point, man, we're only one gap fill away from all-time highs, being about $613 per share. And QQQ is up 0.25%, and this is also starting to break out of a multi-week resistance, being at about 530, 532. We're starting to break out of that. And at this point, the next gap to fill is up to $540, $542 per share, which is, you guessed it, the all-time high. So stocks, although we're not seeing an explosive green day or anything crazy, right? They're still in the green today. The indexes are, and we're gaining ground slowly but surely back towards all-time highs, at least on SPY and QQQ. I mean, the Dow and the Russell, I'm sure you guys know, those aren't near all-time highs yet. I mean, they're slowly starting to break out of these moving averages on this 4-hour chart, but we're nowhere near fully breaking out like QQQ and SPY here on the Dow and the Russell. I mean, look, the Dow is like 3,000, 2,000 points away from highs, and the Russell about 400 points. More like 300. Yeah, about 300. So we have 14% more upside to go for the Russell to get to all-time highs. And the Dow needs probably like 10 more percent. Not even actually, 5 to 10. About 5 to 6% more to get to all-time highs. So not as close as QQQ and SPY, but they're getting there. So what do you guys think? I mean, are you buying the indexes at this point? I mean, that's part of my strategy. You know, I buy VTI pretty much every week for part of my portfolio. You know, I keep VTI kind of as a staple position, but I'm also buying, obviously, a bunch of individual stocks, you know, doing option strategies and so forth. But I guess kind of the core of my portfolio is still VTI. You know, it's a big holding. So I'm still in index funds, guys, you know, part of my portfolio, and I'm continuing to buy. And honestly, I think if you're a long-term investor, you want to have, you know, a core, a foundation to your portfolio. It's smart to have some index funds, you know, whether it's S&P, you know, VTI, QQQ, something like that. You know, pick something and dollar cost average into it and stick to it. I think that's a great way to build kind of a foundation in your portfolio. And then you can have, again, some stocks around that, or, you know, crypto or options moves, whatever you guys want to do. Obviously, do whatever you want to do with your money, man. It's your money. But yeah, that's kind of some thoughts there on the indexes. Pretty nice green day so far. And I saw this story from McDonald's I wanted to share with you guys. McDonald's stock's down a little bit over 1% today, and it's down actually about 25 bucks from the recent highs. So we're actually down like 7-8%. As the stock market volatility's kind of been dying down, as investors have been going more towards the big tech names. We were seeing a lot of investors in these defensive names like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, McDonald's, you name it. And now a lot of those stocks have come down as, again, investors are pushing their money back into the tech names, all the high-flying names, which have done very well over the last couple of weeks, right? So McDonald's is down, not just because investors are cycling back to the growth names, the tech names, but because of Ozempic. Yes, Ozempic is hurting McDonald's. And let me show you this right here. This article, we'll go through it really quickly. So Citi actually downgraded McDonald's, citing that, Ozempic and other GLP-1s are going to hurt McDonald's sales, because what do these drugs do, guys? Ozempic, GLP, it doesn't just magically burn fat off of you, right? But it makes you less hungry. It suppresses your appetite. So what's going to happen at 8 o'clock at night when usually you would order McDonald's, you'd order McDonald's, but now you're on Ozempic and you're not that hungry at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., you might not want to get that McDonald's, right? So that's kind of what's going on here a little bit, and I think I was reading that an analyst thinks that McDonald's could potentially lose up to $450 million of sales or something like that this year, just from the risk of Ozempic and GLP-1s, suppressing people's appetite, therefore taking away from McDonald's sales. I thought that was pretty interesting, and I figured I'd mention it here in this video. We can see McDonald's actually got their third downgrade today in 3 days. So today's downgrade was from Redburn Atlantic. They downgraded the stock and dropped the price target. I think an analyst from Redburn Atlantic has a $260 price target. He cut it from $319. Wow. And it looks like Loop Capital also lowered their target to $315 from $346, and Morgan Stanley to $324 from $329. So there's a lot of other, the other risk is here. It's kind of the same risk, Ozempic, GLP-1s, but for those that can't afford Ozempic, because it is kind of expensive. I've never done it, I've heard it's like $1,000 a week or something, or maybe less. I don't know, whatever. But the additional risk here is for those that can't afford Ozempic, guess what? You have other alternatives, right? You have other cheaper options that are the same kind of thing here, but, some insurances cover it. You can get it for cheaper, blah, blah, blah. So there's so many options. It's not just Ozempic. There's a lot of other ones that mimic what Ozempic is doing at a much cheaper price, which people, a lot of people are going to start doing that, which again, that could ultimately hurt McDonald's. Other brands here like Pepsi, looks like on Pepsi's recent earnings call back in April, CEO Ramon Laguarta was asked about an oral version of the weight loss drug coming to the market, and they said GLP-1 consumers are keeping our brands in the repertoire, probably in a smaller portion. He added that's the way they're actually eating across most of their choices. Yeah, that's what GLP-1 does. It doesn't magically burn fat off of you. It doesn't just work like magic. It suppresses your appetite. So you're still going to eat, but you're just not going to eat as much. So if you go to McDonald's and typically you get, what the heck is it called? Double cheeseburger, you get some nuggets, you get, a freaking Big Mac. Now you might just get a Big Mac, or you might just get the nuggets and not get everything, So this is a little risk for McDonald's, and the stock's coming down. Will this destroy the business? Obviously not. You can make this argument with any restaurant. You could be like, Ozempic's out, so nobody's going to eat anymore, right? All restaurants are screwed. Not necessarily. People are still going to eat, but, they might just not be craving foods like McDonald's as much. You know, the junk fast foods that you want to go, you want to binge, you want to get a couple things. You might just go and get one thing now, which might, again, affect McDonald's, but it's not going to be a catastrophe. You know what I mean? It's like it's only they're only projected to be affected by up to $450 million in sales this year, which, I mean, it's a decent number, no doubt, but that's what it could be. I mean, it could be a fifth of that for all we know. It could be $50 million, right? We don't really know. But that's a quick breakdown on McDonald's. I wanted to cover that story here, guys. And, I mean, a bunch of stocks are moving. I mean, Google, I don't know if you guys saw, but Google is getting back over $180 a share. This is big, up 2.5%. And I've been buying this dip like a madman. You know, I bought more Google, I think, last week, you know, in the low 170s. I was buying it in the 150s, buying it in the 140s recently. So I'm glad to see this. I'm not surprised we're getting the rebound. It was only a matter of time. And I think, honestly, we're going at $200 a share. You know, I think we're going there sooner rather than later by the end of the year, even before that. I think we're going actually well before that. I mean, geez, we have 6 more months left in this year. I think, honestly, by the end of summer, there's a chance Google could be $200 a share. Maybe more. I mean, I don't know. Either way, I'm holding it long term. It's a long-term investment. Google's bouncing back nicely. Tesla's up today. A bunch of stocks are up. But yeah, we're here for about 11 minutes, guys. So I'm going to wrap up the video. I don't want to drag it on too much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe. Join my Patreon for my portfolio updates where I'm investing thousands of dollars a month. And we're beating the S&P 500. We have been now for quite some time. So if you guys want to see me build out that portfolio, continue to build it, see how I'm growing it, that's on Patreon down below. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you in the next video.